our first group of 8 men for the top 16. And then we are going to jump right in, get this going. Up first is going to be Reeves and Taylor. Reeves going to be leading, Taylor in the chase.
Those cars up to the line and we are ready to go.
Our first group of 8 is going to be Reeves, Taylor, Mammoth, Holloway, Oravec, Juan, Lasgo, and Nassar. We're getting everyone where they need to be, and then we're going to jump into this. All right. We need Reeves and Taylor on the line. Reeves going to be in the lead. Taylor in the chase. No more practice runs. We are ready to go. Dajon Reeves in the lead, Anthony Taylor in the chase. We are ready to send these gentlemen on this run to kick off our top 16. Here we go. Dajon Reeves in the lead. Nice flick initiation, straight to angle. Anthony Taylor dives in. Fades back just a touch, bumper to bumper transition after outer zone 2. Or just before, he stays stuck to him. Flying through the end of this track. That tire on the door of Dajon Reeves. Great lead from Reeves and a really clean chase from Taylor.
Very good job, guys. We're going to bring him back up to the line. Flop them around. And we are ready to go. The lights go down. Taylor in the lead. Throwing it in. Reeves a little on the inside, but tightens up right to his door right before the first inner flip. Great transitions right on the bumper, almost taking it off. They're pushing out to those outside zones. Into the last corner they go. Reeves right on his door, just giving him a little love tap. That's the kind of taps we want to see.
Yeah, just a real light tap. I mean, it didn't even look like it really upset the lead. Just kind of a touch. Just a smooch, you know, but fantastic runs. Great back-to-back runs for a good battle. Let our judges deliberate, make a decision.
Pretty close battle. Good driving. start off the top 16. Some great drivers.
Absolutely. The competition's getting fiercer and fiercer by the round.
We will have Nemes to lead, Holloway to chase. Just waiting on a judge call. We're finishing up here relatively soon.
All right, looks like we're moving to a judge call. And Paul going to Reeves. Ryan going to Taylor. And Justin going to Dejuan Reeves.
Another split call, but Reeves is going to pull ahead
Another
just a
split
little
decision.
bit.
All right, up next, excuse me, Peter Nemeth and William Holloway.
I'm liking the Mustangs showing up today.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Here we go. Peter Nemeth taking us off the line here. William Holloway in the chase, diving into that pocket right after the initiation point. Sticking with him, but Peter is flying through this track. William Holloway not letting him get far away. They go through here, a little bit of off throttle in the lead. William Holloway sticks with him, doesn't hit him.
A lot of speed. He had to take a little bit off there going into that last corner. See what the judges have to say about that. But chase driver definitely handled that well, Holloway. And we're going to switch them around the second half of this battle. Holloway's lead, Nemeth's chase. And we are all ready to send them, just waiting on the lights. And away they go, lights go green. Nemeth pulling a burner. Holloway throwing a huge flick into the first zone, smacking it perfectly. Filling all the first outer zone and all the second outer zone, maybe even a little too much. But locks in, straightens out a little bit into that third outside zone. Nemeth is not bothered. He is right on the door and across the line, almost pushing him across the line. Very dominating chase run and a pretty solid lead run.
Pretty solid. We'll see what the replays show. But pretty good. I mean, I think I might have seen a tire drop out of, I think it was William Holloway in outer zone 2 in his lead. But I've been known to see things.
As we go into our replay here. And we have 4 cars on the screen. We're gonna quick switch that around.
All right. Wait for our judge decision. We'll have Oravec, Braden Swan. Oravec in the lead and Swan in the chase. But first, we need to get a decision on that last battle.
And we got all three judges going to Nemeth for that. He's going to take the victory and move on to our top 8. Next up, we have Orvik versus Brandon Swan.
In just a hot second, get our view in there. A little hiccup.
And you got me thinking about burritos now.
Sorry, man. It's all my fault.
Gosh darn it.
I know. All right, we are ready to go. We have Orvik in the lead, Braden Swan in the chase. And here we go. Orvik taking off. Braden Swan not letting him get too far. Orvik grabbing all of those first 2 outer zones. And make their way into that second inner clip. Braden Swan in that pocket position. Right where he needs to be, and he is locked into it. But Orvik on rails as he's been all day long.
Fantastic run out of these 2 BMWs. Not much to complain about there. That was some pretty stellar driving. We're going to flip that around, watch some replays back, and see them go again. Swan in the lead, Orvik in the pace. Big BMW versus small BMW. Orvik getting a little bit of a lead, trying to get a bit of a chase going, starting early. Swan diving in, getting a little bit of a bump from the chase driver. He is able to save it. Orvik diving right back onto the door, being extremely aggressive, while Brandon Swan just gets those zones pretty perfectly, missing a bit of that inside clip, and across the line with lots of door marks, tire marks on his door. A bit of a scrappy chase.
Well, yeah.
Very close proximity, but could have been a little bit more controlled.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could have been a little bit more controlled as well. I think there were times where it just kind of, he would surge in a little bit, and at the time where you thought he should kind of fade back a bit, he really didn't. He kind of dove in, gave him a little tap, just slowed himself down. But I don't know. We'll have to see what the judges see. We don't have the telemetry on our end. We just see the picture. So
yeah, given the first run, I think he needed to bring that close proximity and be as aggressive as possible, hoping that he could force an error in the lead.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm starting to think this one's going to come down to the car control in the lead positions. Judges still looking over the replays and deliberating every single detail of this pretty darn close run.
Absolutely, going through and breaking it down. After this run, we will have Lasco against Nassar. So Lasco will be in that lead position, Nassar in the chase, but we're still awaiting a call from the judges.
is a hard one to tell.
Tough decisions to be made here and down to the wire.
Runs like these that I'm glad not a judge. Got the easy job today.
Absolutely.
Sounds like the judges are figuring out what's going on, and we'll have a call here pretty soon. Judge 1 going to Orvek, Judge 2. Sliding towards
Also
Orvek,
going
and
Orvek.
all three going towards Orvek.
All right, we have Lasco against Nassar. And the lights go down, and Lasco leads Nassar here. Lasco in the lead position. Big gap. 3-4 car gap starting off here. Nassar needs to shore up that proximity as Lasco pulls away. Giving a lot on the table. Giving a little bit of a tap to Lasco. Very end.
And we will flip these around. Lasco in the lead and Nassar in the chase. Sorry, other way around. My bad. Nassar taken off in his lead position. Lasco in the chase. Bit of a shallow entry for Lasco. And he's continuing that habit, and he's now on the door. Nassar pulling a little bit of a gap at first, having a pretty good lead run. Lasco just trying to catch up and get in the pocket, not doing very well matching angle or anything, but they both make it through and they have a run to be judged.
And we'll watch these side by side and see what decision the judges make. Big proximity gaps and some shallowing up of the angle to maintain proximity. It'll be hard to see which way it goes, or hard to tell. Excuse me. Yeah. All right, our judge screen is up. We'll see which way they slide. And we're going to have Paul, Ryan, and Justin all going to Lasco. Lasco will get the win and will be moving on to the grade 8. Up next, we have O'Hara leading Lopez. And our next group is getting into the server, the other half of the top 16. And we're going to go through our 4 battles after they get a quick practice run in. We'll jump right into it. Looks like we've got all drivers in the server. And we just need O'Hara in the lead position and Lopez in that chase position. We're going to kick this off.
We want a clear track at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to kick this off. We have our drivers coming to the line. All right, our drivers are ready. Our light is about to drop. We will see O'Hara leading Lopez here. And here we go. Nice initiation. Lopez diving in to the pocket of O'Hara. They move along through outer zone number 2. Lopez again diving into that pocket, fading off a little bit. Again in outer zone number 3. This transition and final section of the track, a problem area for most, but keep it clean. We'll flip around, swap positions for the second half of the battle. Got Lopez taking the lead now. O'Hara in the chase.
Drivers are ready. As soon as the lights go out, we'll get the second half of this battle underway. And here they go. Light goes green. Lopez in the lead. O'Hara in the chase. Couple of 8.6s.
O'Hara does a great job in the chase position, sticking to the door of Jordi Lopez to finish out the second half of that battle.
Pretty spectacular runs, both of them.
Absolutely. We'll see what our judges have to say. We'll see the replay side by side. See if we can pick apart anything here. Pretty clean, good matching transitions in both run 1 and 2. You know, proximity gaps wavering back and forth for sure on both sides, but you know, pretty even, you know, for the most part, I think is what I'd say. But our next battle is going to consist of Durham leading Mitchell. And our judge
We have a
screen is
judge call.
up. All right. We have all three judges moving it to Alex O'Hara, who will be moving on to the grade 8. Right now, we have Mitchell up right now in Durham, and I believe they need to swap positions. So Durham should be leading Mitchell, I believe. All right, we have Mitchell leading Durham. My bad on that. Here we go. We are off. Mitchell flying down the line. Durham doing the best he can to get close. Drops, I believe, one for sure, maybe 2 tires on that inside clip. Not going to be good for him overall. Diving in again, sacrifices another tire on the inside. Mitchell flying through this course with confidence in that lead position and laying down a great line to go into his chase.
Now we will switch these guys around. We'll have Durham in the lead and Mitchell in the chase. Mitchell taking a very staggered approach, trying to make sure he is on the door as soon as they get into the track. The lights are going down, they go green, and Durham takes off. Mitchell's strategy did pay off. He is right on the rear bumper, going in very deep. Durham throwing down a great start to his lead run. Mitchell trying to keep up, falling a little bit behind in the line, maybe dropping a tire in the outside zone 3. Durham carrying that great lead run all the way to the finish. Across the line they go.
We'll see. I don't know. Ultimately, I think Mitchell looked pretty tidy. Looked pretty tight. His line was nice and put together. I think Durham had some issues, but ultimately, I think this one could go either way.
Yeah, right there with you. Next up after this judge call, we'll have Jarbo versus Noah to get our second to last spot in the top 8. About that time in the competition where you should not be leaving anything on the track. Be giving it your all.
Absolutely.
Now is the time to risk it.
That's for sure. We got our judge screen on the screen. We're going to see which way they slide. All right, and it looks like all 3 of our judges are going to Mitchell. Mitchell is going to take the win and move on. Right now, our next battle is between Jarbo and Noah. All right, we are ready to go. We're going to kick this off. Stephen Jarbo, Randy Noah. Here we go. Great run so far. Slick transition side to side. Randy Noah not letting Steven Jarbo get anywhere out of his sight. Really diving deep, getting that tire on the door. But Steven Jarbo, fantastic lead run there. We have this battle and one more in our top 16, and then we will have our grade 8 formed. I'm going to flip these drivers around. We got Randy Noah leading now and Steven Jarbo chasing.
Randy Noah has to throw down a pretty spectacular lead run here to be able to top that lead run from the previous run. Jarbo has to stick to him like some honey. Honey on the door. Now throwing it in with some pretty decent angle. Could have been a little tighter on that inner clip, but he's grabbing these outer zones really well. Jarbo using that opportunity to drop right onto the door in the pocket. Noah with a very smooth transition to that final corner. Jarbo was right there on the door. Give him a little love tap across the line.
This is a sweet little tap. Sometimes it's all you need. Just let them know you're there. As we watch these runs side by side, I mean, great mimicking from both drivers in the chase position. I think my lead, or my favorite lead, if I had to pick one between the two, would probably be Jarbo's way of throwing it down there. But looks like we have a judge call, so we'll see which way they go. Paul going Jarbo, Ryan going Jarbo, and Justin. All three judges going Jarbo. Jarbo will be moving on, but we've got to figure out who's going to be our last grade 8 driver. I think it's Lugo and Kempinski. Lugo leading Kempinski in the chase. All right, here we go. Lugo flicking it in. Kempinski getting onto the door of Lugo. Almost looked like Lugo was maybe off throttle a little bit in the lead there after there. Kempinski diving onto the door again. Not getting too close, leaving a little bit of room for comfort, I believe. Maintaining reasonable proximity throughout the run. Keeping it clean. Switch him around and see how Kempinski does in his lead.
Kempinski in the lead and Lugo in the chase. Pretty spectacular run in the first half of this battle. See if they can replicate that after they have swapped places. Kempinski looking for the light. It goes green and away he goes. Big flick. Lugo right in the pocket, but dropping a tire on the inside zone and straightening a little bit through the whole chicane section. Kempinski smooth throttling out to the last corner. Lugo tapping his door. Bit of a shunt. Across the line they go.
All right. The side by side, always a pleasure to watch. Sounds like our judges are finishing up their deliberation and are about to submit their calls. All right, we got it on the screen. An OMT from Paul, Ryan, and Justin. Three-way OMT. Unanimous decision. They want to see it again.
We're going to see that right away, I believe, as that is our final top 16 battle. These drivers are going to pull right back up, switch places for a third time, and go at it again.
And the light goes down. We are off. Lugo in that lead position. Kempinski chasing him down. In initiation, big angle from Lugo off the rip. Kempinski tucks into the pocket. Stays behind him. He's close to the bumper on transition. Massaging the angle where it needs to be, but Lugo firing away in that chase position, doing everything he can to run that best lead line he can.
Kempinski straightening out and dropping a tire there right at the end of the run. That's going to come back to hurt him in the end of the second run.
Yeah, I think very likely. Very likely. We'll see him flip around. Lugo in that chase position. Kempinski in the lead.
Kempinski starting pretty far back in that lead position. There we go. Now pull up to the line, make sure it's fair for everyone.
Got them where they need to be.
Kempinski in the lead. The lights go down, they go green. Away he goes. Looking for that big angle entry we know him for. And he throws it. Grabbing right on the inner clip. Fading all the way out. Both of the two outer zones. A little bit of lag. Might have thrown Lugo off, but he's hanging right there with him. And tightening up and across the line. A little bit of lag.
Yeah, I had a little bit on our end. If that was my connection or what? Hard to tell. I never really know sometimes, but. All right, our side-by-side is on the screen. Our judges are deliberating, but I believe we'll have a call here before too long. All right, our judge screen is up. We'll see which way we go. All right, and all three judges going to Lugo. And we're going to move on straight into our top 8 and dive right in, ladies and gentlemen. We are built and formed. We're going to have those drivers join the server, get a quick lap in, and then we're going to have a go. Drivers are making their way.
As soon as those lights go out, we will see the second half of this battle.
All right, we have Nemeth in the lead and Reeves in the chase. Here we go.
The lights coming down, going green, and away they go, these two American muscle cars. Nemeth peeling tire and a big shunt from the chase driver into the first zone. Nemeth deals with it, missing that inner clip because of it, but back online, fill the outer zones. Going into the last outer zone, across the line they go. Reeves trying to keep up as close as possible.
All right. Let's see what the replay shows. See what that looks like. Our next battle is going to be between Oravec and Lasco.
A pretty big shunt there in the second run, but he sure does recover from it nicely. Not going off track or anything.
Good job of maintaining the composure. Get our judges providing their analysis and making the decision before we move on to this next battle. All right. See what our judges have to say. Still making their decisions.
Judges really diving in deep on this one, making sure that they're grabbing the right call. Want to make sure the right driver gets to move on into the final four. All right, it sounds like we have a call coming through. We got Paul going with Reeves, Ryan going OMT, and Justin going to Reeves. Split decision.
Reeves moving on to the final four. Oravec in the lead for the next run, and Lasco in the chase. Lights are going down, and we are off. Drivers are flying down the line to initiation. Looked clean, door-to-door action. We have locked in Oravec on rails in the lead position. Lasco doing everything he can to stay in that pocket and on the door of Oravec as they make their way to the final portion of this track. Lasco diving in a little bit, shallowing up, but maintaining that proximity.
It kind of looked like Oravec, he had a good line, but maybe took a little bit longer on transition than Lasco maybe thought. And it looked like it kind of stumped Lasco up at the beginning of that run, causing a little bit of shakiness in that chase run.
I do agree, and we've got them flipped around. Lasco in the lead, Oravec in the chase. We're going to send them down the line.
Yeah, we are all ready to send them. Lights are going to go green. And Alaska's going to tear off Oravec, jumping the gun to make sure he is right on the bumper. Both going to throw it in very smooth into the first inner clip. Oravec kind of missing some of that first outer zone, but grabbing the second one. Alaska laying down a pretty solid lead run, grabbing all the zones at a very consistent angle. A little tap from Oravec in his chase. That was on transition. It looked like Lasco was on throttle. We'll have to look that back and see exactly what happened. Might have just
not
gotten
really
a little too antsy.
Seemed a little odd there, you know. There was a little sturge, kind of, it looked like, you know, making a little contact, upsetting that lead line. But, you know, ultimately, did the lead do something to make that occur? Hard to tell.
I'll check back on this replay. It'll be coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, it is. It's about to come across your screen right now. And from that angle, it's kind of hard to tell. But again, there, that little tap at the end, pretty potentially a big issue. Oravec laying down fantastic leads all day long, I must say. I mean, he's looked like he's been on rails in that lead position every time. It's pretty impressive.
Very consistent, yeah.
Pretty impressive. Our next battle is going to be between O'Hara and Mitchell. But we are about to get a call from our judges before too long on that last one between Lasco and Oravec. A lot of aggressive driving coming out as we get further down to the wire, trying to determine who our winner is going to be today for round one of season 3, CNDS Concept Drift Series. We have our judge screen up, and we will await the final calls. Paul going Lasco. Justin going Lasco. Lasco will be moving on to the final four, and Ryan going Lasco as well. Unanimous decision. And up right now, we have O'Hara versus Mitchell. O'Hara in that lead position, Mitchell in the chase. Two very aggressive drivers that have been throwing down all day long. This will be an exciting one to watch. The light goes down, and here we go. O'Hara with the big wang up front, flying through this thing. Full throttle, banging the rev limiter, both of them. Free transition, bumper to bumper. Mitchell on the door of O'Hara, not letting him get out of his reach. Sticking to the bumper, but O'Hara running a prime lead line to allow Mitchell to get in that pocket.
Yeah, Mitchell's transitions there were just about textbook. I mean, that was some spectacular chase driving there.
Oh, yeah.
O'Hara setting down that very good lead line to allow that driving to take place. We're going to switch him around, let Mitchell do his lead. See if O'Hara can match that chase run. He's going to have to be quite aggressive. Also, keep it controlled. Lights flashing, and they drop to green, and away they go. Might have been a little bit of contact on initiation. Mitchell not letting it bother him, getting right on line, and more contact from O'Hara, pushing Mitchell off the track. That's going to be a tricky one to tell.
Yeah. Someone's going to be at fault here.
We do know that.
Fault is going to have to be determined. I don't think we're going to have a winner. Sounds like decisions have been made or are being made, and we'll be moving to that shortly.
I think we have a judge call coming in. Go ahead and let him know. We've got all three judges going to Mitchell, saying that O'Hara made a little bit of contact on entry, and that kind of threw off the whole rest of Mitchell's run. We're going to have our next two drivers, Jarbo and Lugo, pull up to the line.
Jarbo in that lead position, Lugo in the chase. Our light is sparking up, and here we go. Off we go, Jarbo flicking it in, Lugo right behind him. Maintaining that proximity, matching that angle. Quick transition, almost directly on par with the lead, with Jarbo running a fantastic line here. Staying heavy on the momentum. Together, Lugo not letting him get anywhere. Painting that left side of his door.
That was pretty cool. That was awesome to watch.
But Jarbo probably stepping out and laying down probably one of the best lead runs of the day. If he'd had that in qualifying, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be top qualifier. So that what a good time to pull it out in competition, I'll say that. You know, if you're gonna pull it out, now's the time. So we'll flip him around, have Lugo lead.
Let's see if Lugo can bring something to go up against that lead run. If Jarbo can keep up with Lugo's lead, and away they go. Lugo throwing it in, Jarbo right there with him, dropping a tire on the inner clip, but keeping great proximity, taking his rear bumper off 2 times in a row. Both drivers grabbing that inner clip, pushing out wide, Jarbo kind of missing the third outer zone, but doing so to keep perfect proximity. And across the line they go. A little bit more there to talk about than the first run.
I think so, yeah.
First run was really just, I mean, that's what we expect to see at this level.
Sure. Yeah, I do agree. But I don't know. I think it's likely we'll have a winner here. I don't know if we'll see an OMT. We'll see. Great back-to-back runs. Great back-to-back runs. Good mimicking of angle. Couple of nitpicky points probably here and there, and I think the judges are ultimately going to be able to determine a winner based off of that last battle. But we'll see. Our screen is up. Paul moving to Jarbo. Justin moving to Jarbo as well. And Ryan. Unanimous decision. Jarbo will be moving to the Final Four. We are in our Final Four. We have Reeves leading Lasco, excuse me. Lasco in that chase position, Reeves in the lead. Both of these gentlemen have been locked in all day long. Lasco with the big wing power, Reeves with the V8 power. As this light drops, we're going to break into our Final Four. Reeves taking off here. Lasco right behind him. Reeves poured on a lot of angle at first. Lasco keeping his composure in the chase. Sticking with him as they move through into the second inner clip. Great amount of proximity. Not quite on him, but not letting him go anywhere. Lasco doing a great job at Reeves. Locked in that lead position, seeing nothing but the end and coverage of the zones. Exactly what he needed to do. We'll flip him around, and we'll see Lasco do his lead, and Reeves do his chase.
Eight six versus the Corvette. We're gonna wait for those lights to go off and have a great time in the second half of this battle. Three, two, one, here they go. Lasco taking the lead position this time. Big snap entry into the first inner clip. Could have been a little tighter on that. Filling the two outer zones cleanly down the power alley. Reeves kind of falling back a little bit. Jumps in at the last moment into the last corner. Little door tap across the line. Pretty good run on both sides. I'm going to watch this back. See if we can pick out anything going on.
I kind of want to see the end of run 2 a little bit. Keep my eyes peeled, see what kind of happens there. Looked like there was maybe a little bit of contact, some pushing and shoving going on.
Well, tap for sure.
I wonder whose fault that would be. It looked like Lasco was maintaining, good momentum good speed. You know, I can't see the telemetry, but it appeared that he was maintaining that momentum that he had. So maybe Reeves just dove in a little too hard. If the judges have to say.
Yeah, Reeves straightened out a little bit, gaining a little too much speed in the last zone. Might have pushed his front wheel into the door just by a little bit.
All right. Side by side tells no lies. But man, is it hard to make a decision just based off of that sometimes. It's a good thing the judges have all the angles that they need. And on demand makes it a lot easier for them. Doesn't make it easy, but makes it easier.
Yeah, I really can't pick anything wrong with these runs. I think Reeves might have had a little bit of a shaky entrance into the course. Might have over-angled just the slightest bit. But it sounds like the judges have an answer, and we'll be putting it on the screen here in just a moment.
And we will see which way our judges slide for this first battle of the top four. Paul going to Lasco. Ryan also going to Lasco. Lasco getting the win. Now we have Mitchell leading Jarbo. Second battle of the final four. And we will have our third place battle and then our final battle of the afternoon to cap it off. But here we go. Mitchell in the lead, Jarbo in the chase. Both have to lay it all on the line right here in a tap before initiation or right upon initiation. Not what you want to see happen. Jarbo diving in, trying to get up to Mitchell. Mitchell doing everything he can in that lead position to maintain his composure. He does so throughout it, finishing out ultimately with a complete run.
A bit of over aggressiveness,
but definitely an issue there in the initiation. So
we'll swap them around. Jarbo in the lead this time, Mitchell in the chase. We'll bring them up, make sure production's ready to go, and then we will send them. Get our last driver for the final battle.
all right, Jarbo in that lead position, Mitchell in the chase. We're on the line. Like we're ready to go. Lights flashing. We're off.
And away they go. The lights go green. Jarbo hitting the cone, and let's restart this real quick. It's one of their 3 restarts, the first restart of the day. They're going to pull them right back. And let's try this again, guys. You're ready, go ahead and send them. The lights are flashing. And down they drop to green, and away they go. So all antsy to get going. There's a big snap into the first zone right on the inside of the track for that inner clip. Mitchell taking his rear bumper off on transition. Getting right in the pocket, right where he needs to get. Jarbo leaving this amazing lead run that we can see from him all day. And across the line they go without a piece of paper between them.
Good stuff there. made it clean after that little false start. So, what you like to see. We'll see which one of these drivers is going to move on to our championship battle for the day. To battle it out for that top spot, and which driver is going to go on for the third place battle. The fight for the points, and we'll see who's going to stand up top. I don't know who it's going to be at this point. Like it's anyone's game.
Could go either way.
Judges are going through telemetry, looking at all the angles, seeing what they have at their disposal to make a decision.
A lot to go over in these runs. There's a lot to unpack here.
Oh, absolutely. I think the big issue in this battle is going to be that contact upon initiation in run one.
On your screen now.
Judges are centering in on their decision, but making sure they see everything before making that call.
Sounds like we have a call.
All right, we're moving to our judge screen. See which way they go. All right, we're straight across to Mitchell. Judges have deemed fault on Jarbo for that contact upon initiation in run one. So our next battle is going to be for third place with Reeves leading Jarbo.
Going to be a spot on the podium and a whole bunch of points at stake here.
Got Reeves making his way to the line. Jarbo already in that chase position. And this is our battle for third place. Who is it going to be? I expect to see a knockdown drag out here from these two guys. Oh, here we go.
There's nothing to lose here in this battle. They're just going to have to leave it all on the track because it will be the last time they drive today on this course.
Oh yeah, it's if you've got any gas in the tank, you better burn it right here, right now. So we're gonna drop these lights, and we're gonna let Reeves lead us off here. Jarbo's gonna chase him down. A 3, 2, 1. We are off for our third place battle. Here we go. Good initiation. Jarbo diving in. Reeves peeling off the angle to pull away almost, it looks like. Jarbo getting back into his door. Getting ready to get into this last transition and last corner. Jarbo sneaking into that pocket, staying in there, getting comfortable. Reeves gonna have to jump in. Kind of almost looked like a angle adjustment in that lead. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think the replay will give us a little bit better tell, a little bit better angle on that. So
definitely a variation in speed, which allowed Reeves to kind of pull away for a second, but I think he noticed that and tore the speed off real quick, and Jarbo dove right back in like he should have. Finished out the run pretty strong for both of them, but definitely some opportunities for Jarbo to capitalize on the past driver's lead run. Here he goes. All he needs is a nice consistent lead run, which he drops a tire on the inside, causing a little shake in the chase. Reeves right there on the door, leaving a nice tire mark there. Going into the last corner. They are door to door and across the line. Great finish to that run, boys.
wow.
But I think we do have a nice and easy call with this one.
We shall see which one of these AOM teammates is going to take third place. Man, that's a good one.
There's some good runs.
Yeah, that's when the side-by-side really shows the skill, you know? Like, that's fantastic, man. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Great runs from these AOM gentlemen. Really whipping it around, that's for sure. Coaches are making their decision.
They're pretty confident in what they're seeing.
All right, we moved to our judge screen. We're going to see which way they go and see who our third place winner is going to be. All right, Paul going to Reeves. Ryan, you going to Jarbo. And Justin, the decision maker, giving it to Reeves. Reeves taking third place for AOM. Jarbo with fourth, also for AOM. And our last final of the day, who's going to stand on top of that podium? We have Lasco against Mitchell. Here we go. This is for all the points, all the marbles, all the happiness tonight. Both these guys should be happy. They both have thrown down all day long. We're going to drop that light. We're going to kick this off.
Two very deserving drivers.
And here we go. Burning off the line is Lasco. Austin Mitchell right behind him. Sticking close. Great matching of angle. Clean transition so far. Lasco really zoned in on this run, and Austin Mitchell's in his shadow the entire way thus far, not letting him get too far, and just not even, I mean, like you said earlier, not a piece of paper between them at the end. That is awesome. That is good stuff right there.
That is what we want to see at the end of the championship. We'll switch these boys around. Mitchell in the lead this time. Lasco in the chase. If it's anything like the last run, this is going to be a heck of a battle to judge.
Absolutely. Here we go. The light's going to drop.
3, 2, 1, and away they go. S14 versus 8-6. Lasco right on his bumper. Mitchell with huge angle into the first inner clip. Lasco is right on his door. Nice smooth transitions into the second inner clip. Pushing out to that third outer zone. A little bit of a gap made there from Mitchell pulling off a little bit. And across the line, they are right there together. Throwing some 360s for the boys. And we'll leave that one to the judges to dissect and figure out who will be on the top step of that podium.
Oh, man, who's going to stand tall tonight? I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm hearing whispers that we may have a winner. I think, if I had to dissect it and figure out, without knowing what it's going to come down to, I think it's going to come down to like little tire drops and just like minor angle bobbles, there's not a lot of mistakes going on, so they're splitting the hairs, but we do have a winner. And who's it going to be? We'll see where it goes. Paul giving it to Mitchell, Ryan giving it to Mitchell, and Justin giving it to Austin Mitchell. Your round 1 winner of season 3 of CNDS. Let's do some burnouts and some celebrations, gentlemen. Let's do some cool stuff to make it happen. So pretty awesome final battle. I mean, just really throwing it down. Both these guys giving it their all, showing us the cool stuff and putting on a show for everybody. All these gentlemen, all 64 drivers today, thank you all for coming out and getting it all together. Let's get our top 3 drivers in there for a 3-man if we can get that together. And that'll be Lasco, Mitchell, and then our 3rd place driver, which is Reeves. We can get you 3 together to rip a 3-man. We'll get this together. Fantastic driving from all these guys today. Really putting on a show for everybody. Had a big, long day of qualifying, driving, streaming. The whole 9 yards. We're going to watch these gentlemen send this off today. This 3-man run.
Beautiful.
Oh, man.
Really
this is gorgeous.
Fantastic driving.
Gorgeous stuff right here. Clean as can be.
And across the line they
Keeping
go.
it spicy
Your
for
3
everybody.
victors.
Oh, man, your top 3. Great runs from everybody. Thank you all for coming out. Big shout out to the sponsors: Virtual Drift Championship, Temple Productions, Moxie Media, Drift HQ, Geronimo Designs, Hannah Motors, and Boundless. Appreciate you all for coming out today and enjoying this driving with us. Round 1 of season 3 of CNDS, the Concept Drift Series. Ripping and rolling all day long.